Good morning, everyone. You're watching 360 live show hosted by Transcontinental Times. This show is intended to invite people and talk about their journey, how they inspired other people, and how they got some lessons from the journey. So this show initially we invited people from film industry, we invited people from law industry, then we have people from different background who are coming on this show and talking about their journey to excel other people and their experience in upcoming days, right? So today we have a very special guest joining us from Dubai, who is very promising engineer right now working in Dubai itself. So his journey itself is an inspiration for many people who are aspiring to become an engineer and also looking forward for taking a challenge in their life. Because I know this man since during my engineering days, and he has proven his track record. He has come across difficult challenges, and he has set a benchmark for different engineers to align their ideas and align their vision to a respective destination. So today we have Suryakant Wagh, who is right now working in multinational company in Dubai as a civil engineer, and he's joining us from Dubai. So welcome, Suryakant, on Transcontinental Times.
Good afternoon, Roshan, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to to speak with you with the Transcontinental Time. And this is a wonderful opportunity. I am really humbled and honored. Thank you very much.
Great to have you, Suryakant. So beginning with your journey, right? So just wanted to understand when you started your engineering and when you was going through different challenges and struggle. There was always inspiration in our life, right? So some people always motivate us and inspire us. So who was your inspiration, and how you taken that inspiration in a different way?
Actually, I want to start with my journey, that how I become an engineer and how I struggle and how I reached to this position in Dubai. So actually, I'm belonging from basically very far, the lower middle class background, which you can say the farmer background, and my mother and father both were farmers. I done my schooling in a Jilla Parishad school, the regular government school, as you are aware, and I complete my 10th from the regular school. And after the 10th, there was a challenge that I was staying in, Murshi Male. You might be aware, Murshi Taluka. In that, the small village is there, Male village. I was staying there. And actually, when we moving from, from the Marathi medium background to like science background, like 11th and 12th science, I completed in my Yeshwantrao Chauhan College, which is a Bharati Vidyapit college. I faced there, there is a transaction, and the village people cannot accommodate there because the peoples are from the convent school. They are much better speaking in English, and they are their dressing style and all these things, they are very comparatively on a very higher side. But somehow I managed to complete my 12th science over there with a decent percentage. And then I was having some goal that I want to become an engineer, because back in Malegaon there was the construction dam activity was going on in a Murshi Dam, and the people who are coming, people who are staying there, actually, there was an engineer who were working on the construction dam. We call them as a sahib, and in the Marathi, the sahib is having a very heavy wording, and it is having an importance. So I thought that I wanted to also become a sahib, and for that I choose to become an engineer. And after that, I decided that I'll go to the Polytechnic, Government Polytechnic Pune, and I just went there and I take my admission in the Government Polytechnic Pune in a diploma. Now the challenge was that how I will run all this show, because the main thing is that my father was expired when I was in a 12th, and my mother was only there in my family, and brother was there, but he was having his own limitation to support. He tried to support to me, but the engineering and all these things have a lot of expenses. It is not bearable to the common people. So then I start in a Government Polytechnic Pune, and then I start my part-time job. I complete my diploma from Government Polytechnic Pune in 2005, and with the help of some part-time jobs and all these things, I managed to complete my diploma. Now the target was that I wanted to go to the engineering, but not a full-time engineering. I wanted to go to the part-time engineering. During that days in Pune, there was college called Wagh Engineering College, and where all the people who can do a job and they can do a part-time engineering. So I decided that okay, I'll go there and I'll do my engineering, part-time engineering, and by the time I can earn some money also. So by doing a job. But fortunately, I got a very good percentage. I got 85% in diploma, and I got in a merit like 15th rank in the state of Maharashtra. So that was like the big achievement for me. So there was, then my friends told me that you don't have to stick to the diploma now. You have to do the full time engineering. Then I decided that I'll go for a full time engineering, and then I take admission to the Government College of Engineering, Karar, and there I completed my engineering in 2008. Now the again the big challenge was there was no support, because the mother was there at home, but she was not aware what I was doing, because she was only knowing that something this guy is doing in Karar. That's what she was aware about. So I was doing my engineering at that time in Karar, and the challenge was that how to do the regular expenses, because the fees was more. So there was one trust called Devi Durga Trust. Actually, I wanted to say them thanks by your medium, that they supported me, and they pays my engineering college fee for 3 years, because they were having some criteria that you should be fit into this particular criteria. But I approached a lot of people to to sponsor me to do the engineering. So they sponsor me for doing engineering. 3 years I completed there. And the one thing what I observed, that in engineering college there was I was having one skill of presentation. So I utilized that skill, and in the every years of engineering college we were doing a presentation, and we were getting some money, which where I was using for the as a pocket money. So then I completed engineering. Now getting a job was not a desire, it was like it was a liability, means to get in the good company. And at that time in Government College of Engineering, Karar, there was Shapurji Palanji company was there, which is like India's second largest organization, and which was giving a good packages at that time. And I was having a target that I'll go to that company. So I done my preparation, and I developed myself in such a manner that I can easily get into it. So because there was skills some required, like presentation skills, some the leadership skills and all these things. So I make things like according to that, then I can select there. So I select there, and it will change my life, because then after engineering my income is start, and at least something revenue is generated. And then I around 7 to 8 years I work with the Shapurji Palanji company. And then but the goal was
just to interrupt at that point, right? So your journey is like facing so many difficulties and coming as a star, right? So tell us something to us about any experience which you come across, whereas you feel that some people criticize, right? When you do something different, always in rural areas and always in urban areas, there are people who are having a negative mindset, and this is always the criticize. So how you took that criticism in a positive way to accept that challenge and execute in a different way?
Actually, actually the criticism, we know that whenever you are doing any activity and you are doing the out of box thinking, people will come with a different opinion, and they will say that, okay, this is not correct, and what you are doing is not correct. It will be land up with you in the losses, something like that. And they might be criticize you for your decisions. Now that's what I wanted to tell. One thing, your goal and your aim should be very high, and it should be very clear. Once you know that you want to go there and you want to achieve something, what people talks, for me it doesn't matter. You know very very clear that what you wanted to achieve. So the criticism, because what happened, I observe in my life, when the another person was tackling the same issue, and when we will tackle that issue, the handling of a issue is totally different. And that the crowd will say that you cannot do this because the crowd was not able to achieve this. But might be your handling skill might be different, and you can achieve this thing. So your things and your goals should be very clear, where you wanted to go and what you wanted to achieve. Then what people says, that will not matters. And once you achieve this, then the same people will appreciate you, that okay, these guys take a decision, and they will appreciate you for your decisions.
So in short, in short, you're trying to say that accept criticism positively and focus on your destination, where you want to go, instead of getting a distraction. Okay, that's very 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 value add point which you have just shared with us. But apart from that, coming from a very financial disabled background, right? You are coming from very poor background and all. So when you dream about going for engineering and all, what was in your mind when you become engineer? Something is in your mind, right? To give something back to society or do something for society. So is this something was in your mind to do something for your people or something for your society after becoming an engineer?
Yeah, definitely. We can say that the civil engineering is the major part of a society.
Mm-hmm.
If you build the structures, if you do the things, definitely it will be part in your, part of the economy, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely it will be help you to develop the country. And the main thing is that once you settle something in front of the youth also, that the way my journey is, the people will see, they will also motivate, the youth people will also motivate, and they will do some out of box thinking, and they can do some achievement in your life. So definitely it's like that, you if you develop by yourself, definitely people will see, and definitely there will be improvement, and definitely it will be improve your country also, and economically it will be have a helpful, one of the helpful hand, you can say.
That's good to know about that. But
Yeah.
tell us something about academic, right? So now most let's focus on the real issues, what is happening in engineering and many
Yeah.
other fields in India and many other
Yeah.
countries, right? So
Yeah.
mostly students, those are right now engineering colleges, medical colleges.
Yeah.
Some people are focusing on getting academics, like academics proven track record means getting good marks, getting a higher number of marks in XYZ subject. So do you think so? Getting a good marks, proven intelligence or proven success of their life, or how you look at the marks versus real education of talent on the field? So what is your way of thinking in that way? How engineers or any student can think about the academics is like a driving license, and after getting the driving license, how you drive your car is more important than getting that marks. So how you differentiate that and how you think about that?
For this example, I'll tell you, in line of your example, I'll tell you, to to drive a car, to get into the Mercedes, you should have a good mark. If you go to
Mhm,
the another car, then you can go it in another car.
mhm,
So the main thing is that mark is required. If you
mhm,
consider in engineering college, you know that
mhm,
there is a one criteria, and you're also having a, engineering background, to go to the campus to the big company, and your career will wholly change. We see that in the corporate, when you start with a good company, so definitely it will change your life. So it's depend upon your goal, what you want to do. So if you want to do the job, definitely the marks are required, because if you want to drive the car, the crowd should be initially stage, it should be the good car,
mhm,
it should not be the bad car. So definitely the mark is required to reach to that position.
mhm,
And we can say it's not the criteria to become a successful, because the life is totally different. If you see the engineering is and all this marking and all these things, the corporate life and other things are totally different. But what mark will give to that what I observe, when you are doing your study, you are doing your hard work and something like that, all these things come to your blood,
mhm,
and you will become like that, you have to deliver the things on time.
mhm.
So I am the guy who is working in a corporate. I'm not doing any business now. So during the corporate, once you have to deliver on time, you have to follow up the commitments and everything. So once they have that sincerity in your body already, so
Mhm,
definitely it will be deliver the things in a very good manner. That's
mhm.
what I observe.
So I also, I'm just catching your point. Just now you mentioned, right? Marks are essential for getting into right position or right
Yeah.
right platform. But I've seen many successful people, businessmen, and there are some people who are not having a proven academic record, but they are different than the people who are top ranked in their colleges and their school. So do you mean the top ranks or top grades in a school or colleges is always is required?
No, no, that is not the criteria.
Hmm.
If you have, that's good. That's what
Hmm.
I'm telling.
Okay.
That is not, definitely that's not a criteria. It's all about your
Hmm.
management and leadership skill. That matters only.
Correct.
If you have a
Absolutely.
basic knowledge, technical knowledge, okay, that's enough. Engineering is finished.
Hmm.
Then you should have to go with your basic management skill, your leadership skill. Those
Hmm.
who are good leaders, that will be perform in the market, and they will always survive in terms of the business, also in terms of the corporate job also.
Hmm.
So you should have that qualities, because if you have a bookish knowledge only, and if you have a 90-95 percentage, and if you don't know how to handle the team, and you don't know how to deal with the people,
Hmm.
so there is if you working in a corporate, as you aware that if you have handling the team of 15-20 people, you should know how to talk with which guy, what is his strong what point, what is his weak point. So handling the people is also important thing. So it's not like the mark only matters. It's like the first initial stage is okay, other things are depend upon your all leaderships and management qualities only. That's what my observation is.
Absolutely, you're right. And the marks is always there. But the students who are right now in engineering college, they should also focus on different qualities like presentation, leadership, talking, communicating,
Yeah.
managing the different events and all. Right, that is more important because marks 99%. If you're achieving it, and going to IIT, IIMs, and finally you are landing into the job the same which the person is coming from the less marks. So it indicates a difference, right? But apart
Yeah.
from that, Suryakant, tell us something about how engineering students can train and can enhance their knowledge, because mostly people are focusing on the like curriculum, what is there in syllabus there, they focus on getting a good marks, good grades in their engineering exams. But apart from that, how they can enhance their other skills? What is your experience and how you wanted to communicate those skills they can improve?
Yeah, that's a really a good question. Actually, by this medium of transcontinental times, I just want to tell the viewers and all people that the marks are important, but the way the corporate is changing now and the world is changing now, you should be more concentration on your we can say the digital knowledge. And another thing is that your presentation should be very good. Back in a college, if you go, there is a lot of colleges are there, you have a good engineering college, but your presentation is not good. So now the corporate is at different level. Your presentation, your way of communication, the way of talking with the people, all these things should be matters. So you need to develop yourself in such a manner that you can survive in this field, because there is a lot of competition here. So all these things parallelly, the presentation skill, you can say the leadership skills, all these things you need to develop along with your education. That's very important.
Absolutely. This is a very touch based point which you are just now talking
Yeah.
about. But apart from that, Suryakant, there is a major challenge right now in India. The mostly people are now targeting only engineering field. If you talk about last 10 years of trend, mostly students are going towards engineering background, engineering studies and all. So what is your advice? What you suggest based on your 13 years of experience in this industry?
Yeah.
How you see engineering sector and engineering industry, where we are going, and why students those are looking forward for engineering studies, they should not think about engineering background or engineering sector, they should opt for different industries as well. So what is your target areas where you can try to focus on, and you can give advice to people who are watching this interview?
My advice to the all the youth and all the people is that whatever the field you work, you should be best in that. That is the simple mathematics is there. If you work with a bachelor of arts, if you work with a bachelor of commerce, we are saying that they don't have a scope. Everybody have a scope. You should be best in your field, and there should be a demand to you. So that's the reason, if you are doing engineering, I just want to tell you an example. I see a lot of the people are social media putting and comment that engineer, you see engineer don't have a job, and engineers are there are a lot of engineers are there, and there is no use of engineering. So I just tend to tell to the view. I just want to tell to the viewer by this by this interview that there is a engineer is there who having a salary of around 10,000, 5,000 dirhams, sorry, rupees. So now there is a peoples here in Dubai and peoples in the international market who are also earning a crores a month. So now I'm talking about a job life. The business is a different level, and that's a different thing. But now you need to decide which engineer you want to become. You want to take a 10,000, or you want to take a one crore. So that development you wanted to you do yourself, that that you should be in a demand in the market. So my opinion is very clear that whenever you are doing any field, or you are doing anything, do the best in that. As you know that Sachin Tendulkar, he is playing a cricket, he is the best in that, world's best cricketer. So you should have to always concentrate on the best in your field. There is a no word called a recession. Recession is there, it is there, but the no company will eliminate the guy who is actually, or remove the guy who is actually best in the company. So you should have to always concentrate and do best in your field, and definitely the success is like it's like second step.
Good to know that.
Yeah.
Apart from that, in your opinion, how you see failures is the foundation of success? If you have any experience in your life, if you gone through the situation like you failed somewhere and you taken some lessons from that failure and you become a successful, can you share that kind of experience to understand how you convert that failure into success?
Yeah, actually, I also see a lot of failure in my life. In a lot of steps, there is a lot of failures are there. But the main thing is that what you are learning from it. That's a very important. And when you want to achieve something goal, the failure will be it will become like a next step only. But the main thing is that, as I told you in the last part of the interview also, that the goal has to be very clear, what you wanted to achieve. So you should have to be very strong in your goals. Then definitely, then you will do the analysis why my failure is happen. So you will see that, okay, step 1 2 3 4, these things is happen and I am not good at that. So I need to we'll give a corporate example, which we all are working in a corporates now. If I will fail in one interview, so we will see that we will criticize the person in front of interview. That's your call, that you need to criticize the people in front of you, or you need to see that what was lacking in you, why he is not selected you. So either you are not suit to the profile, okay, he is looking for a different profile, person is a different thing. But you need to see that whether I was not able to present me properly, I was not able to put my things properly in front of him. So what was my weak points? So usually I'm doing that, means I'm going to the interview, so I'm just putting my points over there, and I'm just observing that where I was lacking, and I'm just trying to improve myself to to have a the good performance for the next time, so it should not repeat.
But as I also observed so many youth recently and going to the so many interviews, because when we had generalists from different countries and all, right? So we always look for a people who gone through the failure. We don't need people who already successful. So the problem is right now the mostly youth compare themselves with the person who is there from their college, or who has grown with them during the college days or school days, and they compare themselves with the person who is already successful. So how you see this comparison creates a big kind of dilemma to accept the hidden qualities of individuals. And do you think comparing is a good signal or good symbol of finding their hidden talent? How you look this situation?
Thank you very much, Roshan, for asking this question. It's a really important question, actually. The basic goal of our life should be that you do not have to compare with anybody. I am always giving an example to my friends when I am talking in a normal manner, that when you wanted to pull somebody, you have to always be on his back. You cannot pull him from one side. So don't think about others. You compare yourself. What was you in the year of 2020, and what you are doing in 2021. So what was the development you have achieved in your life? So compare yourself, excel yourself. Don't compare any other guy. That's what I'm telling you. Everything is related with the goal. Now you see what happened in back of the home, and if you go to the schooling and our engineering college, okay, if you are going there in that engineering college, okay, I'll also take the admission there, because you don't know what you want to do in your life, because you are not clear. It's a very simple fundamental. It's not clear to them. So that's the reason why when you are at least when you come to know that what you want to do, at least you should put your goals, and according to that you have to achieve the success, and what you wanted to excel yourself to achieve that goal. Unnecessary, if you compare with the other guys, and then this will not the good strategy. In that you will not be successful. So the comparing is I'm totally against it.
Mostly people in engineering colleges or in a different industry, mostly we talk about 70-80% people or students, they compare themselves with the person who's getting a good marks in a school or colleges, right?
Yeah.
And they keep comparing that, because they keep comparing, saying that, okay, why I'm not in that position where that person is right now. But they forget that the person is continuously working, not only sitting and waiting for the result, right? But the people who achieved during the college life, they said, okay, they have scored good marks, good grades during the college, and right now they cannot match the lifestyle or the success what the other person are, or the person who was lower than the college, he has achieved it, right? So this is the biggest what you can say, biggest barrier in the social life. Actually, the friends become enemies because of the success, right? And there is a jealousy factor as well. When you become a successful, the person who we are in a college, there are very few people who can be with you and can support you and can encourage and be proud of what you have achieved it. So how you see this is a big threat for Indian community? I'm talking about Indian community because Spain having a little bit of that kind of ideology and mindset. But in Asia, mostly people having this kind of jealousy factor, comparison factor, and they always try to dominate a person, even the person is their friend, and out from their family. So even family dominate themselves, right? Family dominate their person as well. So how you see this challenge or this threat can be eliminated? What is your pinpoint areas which you can highlight on that point, on this subject?
So criticism in any way, it's not a good factor. Means like, we cannot compare that one guy was, I was having a 90 percentage and one guy is not having a 90 percentage and he was having 50 percentage. Now he's a more successful than you. But the main thing, that's what we will go to our back of our interview, that, how you develop yourself in the future. It's not like that you take your 90 percentage and you sleep on the 90 percentage. So you take the 90 percentage, whether you make it consistent to performer to go to that 90 or not, that's very important. Then you have an option to that's what I'm telling you. There is a for me there is a two things, Roshan. It's a very clear. There is a success and failure. Only two things are available. If you are if you are successful, you will not give a reasons because you are already successful. If you are a failure, I'm always giving an example that you have a bags of reason on your back. Whenever somebody will come, you will say that no, I was sick during my 10th or 12th or something like that, and that's the reason why I didn't get my percentage. Then if you sometime will the next person will come, no, I didn't go there because I have that reason, and I cannot do this because my father is having an issue or my mother is having an issue. He will give some family reasons. So always you have reasons on your back and you are always throwing to the people. This is a very competitive market. You should not give reasons to the people. There is a only thing called success and failure. If you are successful, give the reasons for a success only. Don't give the reasons for a failure. So these things are available. That's the reason why once you fail, then you don't have any other option rather than to criticize the other people. So if you see the most of the successful people in the corporate, because we are at very medium level of successful, we can say there is a very high level of people who are very successful in their life. They will never see what people talk about them. They will see what they wanted to achieve.
Absolutely.
So that we need to focus.
Yeah. So according to your experience and your struggle, if you want to define success, what does it mean by success in your view?
Success means it's a combination of hard work and it's a combination of patience. It will come with a hard work and a patience only. If you are a very talented, doesn't mean that the success will come to you. Means like that, you should be very consistent. You should be always focus on your goals, and you should be very hardworking to achieve that goals. And you should know that how you have to make a development yourself to achieve that goal. So that is the only thing.
Okay, so just let me give one statement, and whether you can add your point as well. Yeah. If a person earning monthly $1,000, or let's say $1 million US dollars in a month, and the person is living in a lavish life, having a BMW cars, having a big bungalows, spending his money in visiting different countries and all. So do you think that person is successful?
No, in my in my equation, it's not fitting as a successful, because the successful means doesn't mean the money. Successful, you have to earn the money. Money is also required. I'm not saying that it's not required, but how you balance your life, how much of time you are giving to your family, how you are mentally, you are satisfied to your jobs, your business, and all these things are there. So we need to all these things are related with that only. So it's not like that if simply you have a lot of cars and simply you have a lot of money, then you are successful. And that is not the story. You should have that. I'm not denying that you should not have that. You should have that, but along with that, you should have a mental satisfaction what you are doing.
Absolutely, but mostly people having this kind of life and satisfied with what they have achieved it, what they are doing it, and they feel that okay, why I should help others, why I should bring other people out and give them some kind of support, economical support or any kind of support which they can. So do you think this is another what you can say, another barrier or threat for the community, where people are talented, but because of financial background or financial stability, they cannot achieve it, and the people who are having huge money, but they cannot support it? So how you see this is unbalanced system can be balanced in future? If you become a billionaire, imagine Suryakant Wagh become a billionaire in upcoming 10 years. What is your objective? How you help other poor people in that way? That's what my question is.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. What happened when you are become a successful, that when you are become a successful, main thing is that back to your question, it is like how is your upbringing is. We are belonging from the farmer background. If I become a billionaire, I am a different billionaire, Roshan, because what happened, I know how hard work is involved in my becoming a billionaire and what people are struggling there. So automatically, nobody wanted to tell you, automatically you will support the people. because you know what a struggle is and what people are struggling. What is the value of a 10 rupees and what is the value of 20 rupees? You know that automatically. But the people who are already successful and already they have a money, they will not support to the people. That's what means. Some peoples will be very cooperative, like, I'm giving an example of 4-5%. 95% people are supporting to the social life and social, the people who are from that background. But 5% people are always, they are keeping the money with them and they will not support to them, because of, that's what I'm telling you, that your upbringing is matter, from where you are coming, that matters only. If if I am from a common background and if I am successful, definitely my first responsibility is to support the people who wanted to grow. That is my responsibility, because I know that how people struggle. And because of this, in engineering college, the fees was like 24,000 rupees. Now it looked to be very less amount, but the main thing is that at that time, to achieve that 24,000, and the value of the 24,000 was totally different.
Absolutely.
So if your question was that if I will be the billionaire, definitely my first thing is that to support the people, and to support the people to grow in their life, and support the people like us who are hardworking and they want to do something in their life. So we have to focus on them only.
Absolutely. So upbringing matters most during the situation, and
Yeah.
that indicates your real success. That is what success for me actually. If you look at successful people has to support other people to take them out from the situation and help them to become a successful.
Yeah.
Okay, that is called success. That's good to know. But before signing off this session, just wanted to take your suggestions or last message for youth who are aspiring engineers right now in college, and wanted to become a good leader in the industry. So what is your last message, one-liner message for those people, those students who in upcoming who wanted to become aspiring leaders in upcoming industry?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to give the message to all the viewers, and basically the peoples who are belonging on the students who are belonging from the village area and from the village background. Don't scare about anything. And what happened when we are doing the basic schooling, ZP school and the government school, and when we went to the English medium schools, went to the engineering colleges and went to the city area, and when we see the people with a very polished clothes and with a very high speaking a very high good language, it doesn't matter. I want to tell them that doesn't matter. It's your hard work and it's your determination will grow you. So focus on your goal. And the main thing is that what our the people who are belonging from the farmer background, the people who are belonging from the rural poor background, they know that what is the meaning of hard work. So definitely they become successful. So you should concentrate on your goals, concentrate on their things, what you want to achieve. I decided to goal to do this thing, but if somebody having a bigger achievement, like they want to do the IAS, IPS, definitely you can do it. And don't compare with the other guys, like the city guys and all these things. You can definitely become successful, and you can reach to the position where you require. The thing is that you need to work on you. You need to work on you and keep your always goal on the very higher side. You should have to always keep your goal high, and definitely you will become successful in your life.
Great. Glad to know your thoughts. So thank you very much, Suryakant, for sharing your experiences and also very valuable insights, how you come across your life, and how you taken that challenges and struggle and the situation in positive manner, and you achieved many more, and possibly in upcoming years you will achieve more. So it was really privilege and an honor to have you on Transformative Times. We wish you all the best for upcoming projects which you are doing in Dubai. Keep doing good and keep working for society and help others. That's what we wish from Transformative Times, and we wish you all the best again. Thank you very much for your time, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much, Roshan. Thank you very much to you, and thank you very much for your team who is working behind my interview. Thank you very much. Thanks.